Awesome. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you to everyone that is joining us today. This is our second official Branch Impact Zoom call, and this one is actually backed by popular demand. So we had Adam speak with us this time last year, pretty much with the exact same content. So if you want to go back and reference the initial call that we had last year, you can do that on YouTube. Just search Branch Impact Zoom calls on YouTube, or you can search my name, Shelby Wildgust, and my channel will come up with all of the Zoom calls from last year. But before I introduce Adam, who is our guest today, I do just want to give a couple of quick updates here. A lot of people have been asking me if these calls are recorded. They are always recorded, and they're always posted on YouTube within 24 hours of the recording date. They will be posted in the Branch Impact Facebook page, and they'll be posted in the Vector BM DM support page. So if you notice that some of your fellow branches are not on the live call, make sure to tag them in the recording when it is posted in the Branch Impact Facebook page or on the Vector BM DM support page if you're not someone who's part of that group because of where you are located from a company standpoint. Other than that, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has introduced themselves on the Branch Impact Facebook page. It's been great getting to read your stories, learning about what you're excited about, and then, of course, interacting with you through the comments. As many of you have seen, we started a new comment thread yesterday underneath the hashtag discussion question. We'll be doing that every single Monday leading into your branch summer, where I pose a discussion question regarding something having to do with management skills as it pertains to running a branch office. Interacting with these discussion questions is incredibly valuable because it's going to allow you to really just verbalize your thoughts regarding management, and it's going to allow you to become more aware of some of the important aspects behind being a successful branch manager. So if you haven't checked out the hashtag discussion question thread, I would definitely recommend checking that out after our call and making sure that you participate in the next discussion question, which will be next Monday. You can also participate in the most recent one as well, or just read through the comments. And other than that, our next Branch Impact call is on February 12th, and that call will also be on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. All of the calls this spring are on our cover photo of the Branch Impact Facebook page. So if you're a planner like I am, I'd recommend going to that Facebook page, putting all of the calls in your calendar. That way you do not miss any of them. So that's enough about the housekeeping items. I'm going to turn it over to Adam Stock. Before I do that, I do want to introduce him and let you all know who exactly Adam Stock is. So this summer, it will actually be 25 years since Adam began selling Cutco the summer before his senior year at Carleton College, and he actually finished up that summer at number 40 in the nation. Adam graduated cum laude with a double major in math and economics and opened up his Vector office as a branch manager in Homewood, Illinois, I'm assuming that is. He then ran a district office for 3.5 years in Homewood and Lincolnwood. And then in 1999, due to strong entrepreneurial skills that Vector helped him develop, Adam easily landed a position as an investment advisor at Merrill Lynch. He earned his CFP in 2002 and moved to Lincoln Financial Advisors, where he has been ever since. In 2013, Adam completed his master's degree in personal financial planning. He leads the Next Level Planning Group, a team of 10, helping clients with investment, insurance, and estate planning. Adam has continued a strong relationship with our company, and for the last 15 years, in addition to his financial planning business, he has run a separate company called Rising Stock. Many of you are familiar with Rising Stock. They do the bookkeeping for Vector managers and sales reps. Creating profit loss statements without filing your taxes is much easier. They also provide coaching to help increase profits. Personally, Adam has been married to his wife, Melinda, for 18 years. They live in Evanston, Illinois, with their 5 children, Eliana, Maya, Sammy, Max, and Adam. I have your bio from last year, so I don't have the updated name of your beautiful.
That's all right.
What's that?
Yeah, Solomon. Solomon is our youngest. Yeah, 6 weeks.
Yes, they just added a fifth child into their beautiful growing family, Solomon. So without further ado, please welcome Adam Stock to our call. Adam, I'm turning it over.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. It's great to be back. By popular demand is like a very, very high compliment. So last year, I guess there were a bunch of panelists. They didn't make it this year. So you get me. So I don't take that lightly at all. I feel like I've got big shoes to fill. So here's what I'm setting out to accomplish. What I would like to do is I would like to talk for roughly 20 minutes. And then I would like to take Q&A, because I find that like there's lots of Q&A. And that's where a lot of the rich conversation comes in. So I'm also using the dial-up into this, because I found that when a lot of people are on the video, if I go through my computer, it can get stuck. So I'm hopeful, even if the video, pauses, you'll still be able to hear me. So let me just check in real quickly. Is my volume all right? Okay, perfect. So how I want to structure this is I want to structure it as if you were asking me Q&A. So what I mean by that is, so as Shelby mentioned, in 2002, which is 16 and a half years ago, we started Rising Stock. We've worked with thousands and thousands of managers and tons of P&Ls. P&L is profit and loss report. So we've seen a lot. And somebody once said, hey, you probably know more about the inner workings and the finances of managers and sales reps than anybody in the company. And that's probably true. So it's just simply what we do. I've seen a lot and developed a lot of philosophies around finances and as it relates to management in Vector. And I've seen a lot of positive changes and been the catalyst for a lot of positive changes. And I'm very, very pleased to be able to say that. So I'm going to pose this as if I were you. And then if I'm not answering your questions, then that's what the Q&A will be for. So I'm going to start with like, what would I do? What should I do, Adam, right now? It's January 22nd. I opened my branch office in roughly 3 to 4 months. Like, what should I be doing right now to prepare? And here's a couple things that I would say. Number one, review and practice your fundamentals. Okay? Practice your fundamentals. Your interview, your training, your PDI, whatever those fundamentals are for you. The PC, you probably have somebody in your division, in your region, whose training is considered the gold standard. Watch that training over and over again. Script out the training if you've been asked to do that. And then I would rehearse. So you might say to me, well, Adam, I don't have anybody to rehearse with. And I can point to Scott Dennis, who is the Eastern Region manager, who was a branch Silver Cup manager, who set up stuffed animals and practiced doing the interview over and over and over again to stuffed animals. So, and I was a manager around the time that Scott was a manager. So so I know this to be true. So practice out loud. That's the number one thing that I would do. Secondly, realize that once you start running your office, you're going to get better and better. So don't worry if it's not perfect. It's not going to be perfect. And even the people who are doing them for the 10th or 15th year, they're always looking for ways to improve. The next thing is sell Cutco. There's a correlation between personal sales and branch sales. There's a correlation between personal sales and office sales. So you're going to be able to run a better branch office the more experience that you have in selling. And even if that's squeezing it in over the weekend, if you're in school, or if it's one a week, or if it's at night, or here and there. The reason that I think this is so critical is that you're going to be asking a lot of your representatives. Right? You're going to ask them to have push periods. You're going to ask them to press it. You're going to ask them, hey, one more appointment, right? And it's a lot easier for you to coach that if you've done that, right? If you're able to say to somebody, hey, I was taking 20 credits and I was selling and I was doing 5 appointments a week, so don't give me this baloney. You can't do 5 appointments. I was doing this with 20 credits. You know, you have to have your story, and the more legit you are as a sales rep, the more you're going to be able to ask and the higher your expectations are going to become of the people you are leading this summer. So that's my first thought as far as what should I be doing right now? The next question is, hey, what if I only have small amount of startup? Okay, what if I don't have the thousands and thousands of dollars that Joe or Josephine Blow have? What if I don't have that money? And my answer is, you can't change that, right? Like, that's one of my favorite Hal Elrod-isms. You can't change it. So your situation right now is your situation. You can't change what's happened in the past. But I would say 2 things. One is, you can still influence the next few months. You can still sell, okay? And you can still earn a good amount to add to your startup. So don't think that whatever you have in startup right now is what you're going to start the race at. It's not necessarily set in stone right now. So keep selling and keep adding to your startup. And the other thing that I would say as far as it relates to startup is, the good news is that we're at a place in the Vector financial history where you need very little to start up an office. I mean, it's not really, it's if I were running the business, I would have the bar higher, okay? But they do that intentionally so that more people would branch, right? But the point is you don't have to stress out about it, okay? You have a lot of your mailers paid for, and some people will say, well, geez, if I'm going to be spending $5,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 on stuff, like, how am I going to do that? I only have a couple $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever in my startup. The thing is it's going to happen where you're doing the business. You train people, they sell, right? And then you get paid, and then hopefully you retain a couple of those people, and then you have another training class, and then the other group sells, and then your training class sells. So the point is your cash flow is going to build on itself, okay? First couple weeks, maybe you're not going to see big revenue numbers, but the purpose is you grow, you keep adding to your team, and then you'll build. And so that money that you're earning, that's money that will pay future bills. And so I have a photo up in my home office here, and it's of me at a well, pumping a well, okay? And this is Zig Ziglar's analogy of pumping the well, which is a great analogy. So it's like sales and sales management is very much like pumping a well, okay? And when you start pumping a well, for those of you that have done it before, what happens? Nothing, right? Nothing comes out. But you keep pumping the well, you have faith that there actually is water there. So you keep working hard and pumping the well, and then all of a sudden the water comes, and when it comes, it really gushes, right? So you have to put less effort to have a water stream. And I think that that's the same way that sales and sales management is. So you have to have faith that this works. The branch program is an amazing program. Have faith that it works. And then realize that it's like pumping a well. You have to just do those fundamentals over and over and over again, okay? All right. What are some things that I should be mindful of, like that people usually make stupid mistakes with, okay? What's the dumb stuff? So here are a couple of the dumb things. New managers, inexperienced managers, often they don't have a sample kit retrieval program. So people leave with kits, and then they keep the kits. They don't return the kits, right? And then you end up paying thousands of dollars for kits, okay? So everybody, I see many of you are taking notes, which is great. If you aren't, now is a good time to start. I'm going to give you a ridiculously awesome mantra here, quote. Okay, and here it is. It is, it is systematize the predictable. Systematize the predictable so you can humanize the unpredictable. Systematize the predictable so you can humanize the unpredictable. Okay, that's a quote by a guy named Ron Carson. And I love it, especially when I can remember what it is. So anything that's in your business that can be systematized, right? You need to create a system, or you need to know your district manager, your division manager, what is their system, okay? So fast start, that's a system. So there's no reason why everybody who has a fast start shouldn't get all the fast start prizes, okay? If they don't, it's laziness on your part, or you don't have a system. So systematize that, okay? How do you do that? This is an easy one. You should have an agenda for every team meeting. If your team meeting is on Monday, then you make an announcement and you say, hey, if you're finishing your fast start, make sure that you turn in your fast start sheet so I can get your fast start prizes. Every week you make that announcement, okay? And you should make sure that everybody gets their fast start prizes. That's a little simple systematization, okay? Why are you systematizing? So that you can use your head to think and humanize the unpredictable, okay? Somebody comes in because something happened on their demo or they need your help, and you're working on how do I help this person sell
I think we lost him for a quick second there.
Okay, how about now?
Oh yeah, we're good.
Okay, whenever my system reboots, then I have to unmute. Okay, so I was talking again about fast start and making sure that you're systematizing the predictable so you can humanize the unpredictable when somebody calls and they need your help to close, for example, right? Or you need to retain somebody, or you're running a PC, right? Those are things that aren't as predictable, okay? So whatever you can find in your business, whether it's base pay or sample kits or fast start, or here's a great one, okay? This is a great one. I made this one up. So what you want to do is work on leveraging your time. Okay, what you want to do is work on leveraging your time, okay? So if you don't have people on your team who are your key staff yet, all you have to do is you have to ask people, hey, I could use a hand. Do you mind coming in early and helping me set up for training? Hey, do you mind being the order checker? Hey, do you mind being rope cutter? This is what I got from Ryan Casey, okay? You just assign people roles, and people want to help. So you just have to ask them, okay? You have to ask them, ask people on your team to help you, and leverage the time. Leverage your time with those people. Okay. Am I back online? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just can't, I can't pull your screen up, but I can hear you.
That's okay. You don't need to see me. I have a face for radio. All right. So just as long as you can hear me. So what I was talking about is the importance of delegation, even if you don't have assistant managers, right? Calling team members in to help you. And again, what I would do is for setting up for training, okay? You should do for setting up for training is you should take a video of where everything is in your office when it's set up properly for training, okay? Take a video and narrate the video. Okay, what you see here is the knives. They're set up in this order. What you see over here is the cutting station. What you see over here is this is set up. These posters are up in this particular order. When somebody comes in and helps you, you ask them to help you set up for training, just give them the video. Boom, nugget, okay? That should be an easy one for you. Okay, last question before I open it up for questions is the following. Am I going to profit this summer? Am I going to profit as an office? And I will say this. Number one, really, really difficult these days not to profit as a branch office for a couple reasons. One is you get a very big amount of startup funds from the company, number one. Number two, you should be thinking about selling at the end of the summer, last couple months of the summer.
We lost you again. See if he jumps back on here.
Got me now?
Yep, you're on.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So I was going over the question of, will I profit this summer? And the answer is almost certainly yes. It's very difficult not to profit now as a branch manager, and I see all the P&Ls. So the first reason is because the company gives you a redunculous amount of money, right? That's the first reason. Second reason is because you should be selling. At the end of the summer, the last 2 months, you get to sell at 50% flat commission, whether you're at 50% or not, which is awesome. Guys, realize after you teach people over and over, week after week, how to sell Cutco, you're going to get a lot better yourself. Some of those most prolific sales representatives in Cutco ran branch offices, okay? Okay, the other thing that I want you, the analogy that I'd like you to understand as a frame for am I going to profit is the idea of internship summer school. Okay, and I tell parents this when I talk to parents. They ask me, well, my son or daughter is going to work so hard over the summer, are they going to profit? And here's what I tell them. 3 outcomes. Number one, if your son or daughter is, I say, if this is you in your case, if you weren't going to run a branch office, you would likely do one of 3 things. You would either have an internship that's paid, you have an internship that's unpaid, or you'd take summer school classes, right? So the internship that's paid is similar to the branch managers who are profitable, right? You would have earned money if you had a paid internship. So running your branch office, boom, you're profitable, boom. An unpaid internship is like breaking even as a branch manager, okay? If you could choose between having an unpaid internship with a company or running a branch office, like, which do you think is a better experience? What do you think is better resume builder? Okay. Last of all is, if you weren't going to have an internship, then you would take summer school classes. You or your parents would pay money for tuition, and then you would go to school and sort of study and sort of not. So that's sort of like, in the case that you do lose a little bit of money, it's just like tuition, in my opinion. Except you're going to get an incredibly rich experience that's going to far exceed anything that you would learn at a summer school class. So think about that frame. If you want to tell your parents that frame, that's fine as well. So I'm gonna stop there. I said that I would stop at 20 minutes and open it up for questions. Hopefully I'll be able to hear the questions. I know our connection is a little bit touchy, touch and go. And Shelby, I'm absolutely happy to answer any questions that you would want to ask me as well.
Yeah, Adam, so I actually have a couple of questions that I think will really benefit a lot of the people who are on this call.
Sure.
The first question is, I've seen through working with branch managers that when it comes time to start looking at office furniture, looking at offices in general, just looking at the general expenses that go into getting the office off the ground, there are some dumb mistakes that can sometimes be made. So in your experience, what expenses would you recommend that these branch managers work to minimize? And what
Yeah.
expenses would you recommend that they work to maximize, and why?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. So thanks for that question. So things that I would not spend a lot of money on is office furniture. So I would write a list of all the things, your wish list, and I would send it out, give it to your parents, give it to your parents' friends. You could let a local church or synagogue know, hey, I'm opening up an office for the summer. Can I borrow some chairs from you, for example? Do you have any desks or chairs that I could borrow for the summer, right? And there are people that get used stuff and borrowed stuff, and they don't have to furnish their office. So you don't want to get something super fancy. And especially if you're working in a pilot office right now, you might look around you and you might think that's normal, right? It's normal for your division manager, who's a career position and making bananas money. It's not normal for a branch manager. So you don't really need to spend a lot of money on those things, really. What are things to spend money on? Things that are going to drive recruiting. So, if that means paying somebody to do Facebook posting, or a social media person, or somebody to put out flyers, that's always great. You can get Cutco at a fraction of its cost as managers, and then you can pay people in Cutco. That's a great way to get people out flyering. Okay. So those are whatever things are going to generate touches. Those are things that I would spend money on. I would not spend a lot of money on fancy contests. Okay. What I would do is I would get good at promoting what the contests are that the region has, that the company has. Get good at promoting those, because there's tons of them. Okay. You can start listing them. There's still K Club, right? 1,000 weeks in a row over 1,000 or 2,000 strings. There's President's Club, where you get a signed letter of recommendation from the president of the company. There's a #1 rep in my office. There's #1 rep in the division. There's #1 rep in the region. There's scholarship. There's a regional trip. There's, what else? Fast start. And here's a big one, next promotion. Okay. That's another one that people don't promote exceptionally well. Get good at promoting the next promotion. Hey, you're going to get a pay raise with only that X many more sales, you'll get a pay raise. 50% pay raise, 25% pay raise. You ever gotten a pay raise like that before? So get good at promoting those things. Okay. How's that for a good start to that answer to that question?
That was great.
I got one more. Sorry.
It's okay.
I would say be mindful of how much you're spending eating out. Like if you can pack lunches, and then also healthy. Okay, healthy. We have 3 limited resources: time, money, and personal energy. Those are our 3 limited resources. So get rid of the fast food. Okay. What I would do, I would buy some no-cow bars or Quest bars or some protein bars. You can do meal replacement for 1 meal a day. Easy peasy. And you can have a lot of energy. Okay. I'm telling you, I got 5 kids, 2 businesses. I got a dog. I got lots of stuff, right? And this week I'm turning 46 years old. Okay. So energy is important, and monitoring your energy. And if you don't eat like a pig, then you'll have a lot more energy than if you do. Keep it clean, drink a lot of water, and that's one of my suggestions for you. All right, back to you.
And I actually wanted to add on to that, Adam, just a couple of quick tips for all of you regarding office furniture. There are a lot of resources available to you to find free stuff online. So there is obviously Craigslist. You can look on Craigslist. The one thing that I recommend when looking on Craigslist is be very wary of things that come off as scammy. If it rubs you the wrong way, don't pursue it. And if you are going to pick something up from someone's house, don't do that either. Pick a well-lit area to meet that is like a shopping center, and then bring someone with you. That's the one thing about Craigslist. Just want to be cautious. Facebook Marketplace is another really good spot to find office furniture. And then just like Adam said, let your family know what you're looking for. Post things on Facebook, you know, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. Ask old branch managers if they have anything left over, or district managers if they have anything left over, if they happen to close down. I know that there's a lot of people that you could probably reach out to get old material, old furniture to use in your office. Other than that, that's my only other tip. My next question for you, Adam, we had a branch manager ask a question in one of our recent threads, you know, what is the average income per week for a branch manager? And I know that's probably difficult to answer because it fluctuates so much throughout the summer. You made a really great point about the pumping the well analogy. So can you touch slightly on the fluctuations of income over the summer and just what to expect as a branch manager, so that way they're not freaking out in May when it's not as big as it will be in August?
Right, and I think that you hit on the key point, and that is like the first few weeks, you're just building, okay? So your paychecks are gonna be small, and that's why startup's important, so that you have money to pay some bills there, okay? Now the company startup is gonna help you out a lot with that as well, but you really wanna try to ignite a flame right away. I know Facebook Jumpstart, I know there's Slingshots, I know all these different programs that exist to catapult you into essentially a fast start like environment, right? So as far as like how it's going to build, part of that depends on you. Now, there's people that come out of the gate and boom, they've got nice classes and they have people who are jamming, and then other people start slower and build the momentum. I mean, you're going to earn more money in the push periods, presumably because you're really, right? You're going to conference, big sales report, big income. This is probably, and I don't know if that's a great answer to your question. I find that averages sometimes are a little misleading because, you know, it's going to include the person that does $500,000 and it's going to include people who do 20,000. So, you know, what I would focus on is the recruiting part of it. Okay. And what's important to know is that your biggest margins are your 0 to 6,000 in sales. Okay. Your 0 to 1,000 is your fattest margin, then 1,000 to 3,000 and 3,000 to 6,000. Above 6,000, it's great if people sell, but you're just not earning a lot of money from those representatives. Okay, so sometimes what happens is branch managers have small teams. Maybe one person has this huge fast start, and then they go into SC2, and their paycheck isn't commensurate with their sales report. Well, the reason is because you have a few people who are already at a higher commission level who are doing all of the sales, and your margins are very thin. Okay, so it's really important that you understand the business model of this business, which is a recruiting model. The more people that you can get to hit that, ring that bell at 1,000 and 3,000, the better. Okay, so what that also means is it's important that you focus whenever people are in your training, that you focus on that fast start. Okay, if somebody's in your training, you need to look at them with full conviction that they are going to sell Cutco this weekend. Okay, if there's somebody who's sitting in their training, you don't think that they're going to sell a lick, then you're doing them a disservice. Okay, they shouldn't be in 15 hours or 12 hours or whatever your training is if you don't believe that they can sell the product. Okay, so you have to have that conviction yourself and transfer it to them. The same way that sales, when you're selling Cutco, it's a transfer of enthusiasm and conviction from you to your customer. Same thing as a manager. It's transfer of enthusiasm and conviction from you to your trainees. Okay? So you want to minimize your zero sellers. You want to really maximize how many reps you can get to ring that bell on 1,000, on 1,500, on 2,000. Okay, because that's your fattest margins are right in that area.
Awesome.
Right, and PRs. Following that first wave.
Oh, we lost him. He will be back on in a second here. Adam, are you on?
And I'm back, Okay.
So you were saying PRs?
Yeah, that's it. Just the wave. You have to catch the wave. You have the first wave of recruits, getting PRs from them, creating that second wave through the PRs.
Yeah. I want to quickly touch on a lot of what you just said, Adam, because it's something that's super, super valuable and something that, from my experience, having worked with branch managers, can sometimes be detrimental to their success if they get their heads stuck in this mindset of immediate return. So with branch, there's a fluctuation of the summer where in the beginning of the summer, you're going to be putting in a lot of action, recruit, recruit, recruit. Your paychecks might not reflect in that moment all the action that you're putting in. But then come July, when you've recruited a massive team, you've retained them through June, and then July is here and you're in the mother of all pushes, the SC2 push, and then you're also selling at 50%. That's when we see branches having paychecks that are $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 in a week. So in the beginning of the summer, really try your hardest not to focus on the money, but focus on the action. Just like Adam's saying, focusing on the recruiting number. So often we talk all about the sales number. Oh, I want to do a $200,000 summer. I want to have a $30,000 May. Focus on the recruits. The recruits are what drive that number. And just like Adam is saying, your fattest margin, the most amount of money is made when you get a recruit from 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 6,000. So really focusing on getting a mass amount of people past their first promotion. For every rep that you get to their first promotion, you earn $250. And then there's a sliding commission structure after that. But making sure that you're focusing on the recruiting in May with the faith that the results, the money, the sales, the recognition, the accolades, that will all come in June and July. Don't count yourself out come June because you don't have the results that you wanted to in May. All right, so those are the only questions I had for you, Adam. I'd like to open it up to anyone else in the field right now who has questions. Guys, if you have a question, just use the comment feature, the chat feature, and say I have a question, and I will direct it over to you.
And then just to piggyback on what you're saying, Shelby, that exactly what you described is the water pump analogy. That's exactly how it's going to feel. I'm pumping in May, April, whenever you're opening up your office the first few weeks, pumping that well, don't see a lot of water, i.e. money in my paycheck, right? But I'm building it. I face that, right? That's exactly it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to go over to Michael Foreman. So Michael, go ahead and unmute yourself, and you've got your chance to ask your question.
Hey, thanks, Shelby. So Adam, I remember you were talking something last year about a structure of like how to save, and you were talking about the different accounts to open, and things like that in terms of bank accounts. I was wondering if you could go over that.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So are you, just so I'm clear on what you're asking, Michael, are you asking about like the order of savings?
Yeah, the order, and then I remember you said open up like a certain type of bank account, checking account, and then open up a savings account, and then there was like a kind of a process of what to transfer and things like that.
Yes. Okay. So what Michael's referring to is the structure, like the how I would recommend you open up different checking accounts and whatnot. So thanks for that question. The answer to this question is typically advice that we give to district managers, not branch managers. Okay. I'm going to share the advice with you, but know that it's not necessary that you follow this as branch managers. Okay. What we recommend for district managers is that they have a checking account that's a business checking account, and that their commissions go into that business checking account. And that from that business checking account, they have a business credit card, they pay the business credit card from the business checking account. Then from the business checking account, they pay themselves from the business checking account to their personal checking account. Okay? So as a district manager, it's really important that you have that type of structure versus just having everything flow into your personal checking account or one checking account. I don't feel like it's as necessary with a branch manager, just because you're probably going to run your business for 10 weeks or so, 8-10 weeks, and then sell. If you want to do that, you're welcome to do that. Again, what it would be is setting up a business checking and a business credit card, and then having personal checking and personal credit card, telling Olean to direct your commissions into the business checking account, and then paying your business bills through the business checking account, and transferring money when you need to your personal checking account. Is that helpful, Michael?
Yes, thank you.
Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah, it was. I remember there's like a paper, but I just forgot. So thank you.
Yep, you're very welcome.
All right, let's go over to Megan Kaiser. So Megan, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey there, can everybody hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. I was just kind of wondering, like, what kind of credit score do you need to qualify to rent an office space? What kind of things help with that? You know, being so young and looking to start a business and stuff, I don't know what kind of things the renters are looking for when you're doing that process of finding an office.
Yeah, that's a great question. So what kind of credit score do you need to rent an office? The answer is it depends, which I know is going to kind of be a nerve-wracking answer. But here's why it depends. If you don't have a great credit score, what you may be able to do is pay for the rent up front. And that's also, even if you do have a good credit score, it's a good way to negotiate. Okay? So you could also try to use Cutco. It depends on where your office is. Is it urban? Is it rural? So I don't have sorry, I'm back online here. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. I don't have like a definitive, it has to be 680 or it has to be 620. I don't know, because I'm not a landlord, what those cutoff points look like. But I do know that if your credit isn't great, then you still may very well be able to rent an office space for the summer. So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Megan, I want to jump in really quickly with that. I have not had, in my experience working with branches, and when I was a branch, both times I was never asked about my credit score because I was directed to just pay up front. When you pay up front, there's no need really to check your credit because the fear of you not paying your rent is no longer there. So work with your DM or your DVM on that, but you should be able to pay up front, and that you can create a plan on how to get that money up front with your DVM. Okay, let's go over to Miranda McAllister.
Hi, Adam. My question is, when you were talking about don't spend a lot of money on ridiculous contests, that's definitely something I spent too much money on last summer. So if you have any suggestions for extra cost-friendly contests or team night out ideas, that would be awesome.
Yeah, great. So and now that you bring that up too, I so appreciate you mentioning, hey, this last summer I didn't do that very well. There's probably other things that you could teach the other branches. So, Shelby, it's been quite a while since I ran a branch office. And so, that's something that you might, if you don't already do a share with people who have run offices more recent than I, that's something to consider. So, so a couple things. First of all, you brought up team night out. So I just want to be really clear that the tax law has changed this past year such that entertainment is not a business deduction. Okay? So when you go out for team night out, if you pay, doesn't matter whether you pay for yourself or somebody else, technically that's not a deduction. So if you can incorporate that expense into a different category, maybe it's training, that's acceptable, but just be mindful that entertainment, strict entertainment is not by definition a business deduction any longer, okay? So the second thing that I want to say is I've got the contest of contests. This is the one that I absolutely love. And basically, you do it once or twice a summer when you need a big push. And how it works is everybody who comes into the office for a phone jam, or some people have been doing virtual phone jams. If you don't know what virtual phone jam is, it's basically like this. You get all your reps on a Zoom, and then they go mute, and then watch them calling, and then whenever they schedule appointments, they unmute or they raise their hand or they they chat. And then, so that could be a great way to do phone jam if you have people who are far away. So people come in, they do phone jam. Every appointment that is scheduled, you take a $1 bill and you put it in a bucket or a bowl, whatever, a hat, whatever. Every single appointment, okay? You can crumple up the $1 to make it, look more impressive when there's a whole bunch of these dollars overflowing this bucket, okay? Then for every appointment that somebody makes, they get a chance into the drawing, okay? And you could say, hey, you have to schedule 3 appointments to qualify to be in the drawing, and then you have a separate bucket that has their name on it. Every time that they schedule a demo, you put $1 in the bucket and you put their name on a sheet of paper, on a slip of paper, into the other bucket, okay? And then at the end of the night, you draw, and whoever gets their name drawn 3 times wins all the money, okay? You can have a total blast with this. You can go crazy. You can do a countdown, oh, this person's name is drawn twice. Oh, we've got 3 people whose names have been drawn twice, just like a push period countdown, right? The winner up, we got a winner, right? The winner up. The winner is not bald. Okay, great. No, that person sits down, right? Adam lost. And then whoever wins, then you can throw the money up in the air, make it rain, whatever. You have just a total, and then they get all the money, okay? Whoever wins. So you might say, well, that's an expensive contest. No, it's not. It's not. If I could spend $100 and generate 100 demos, ladies and gentlemen, I would do that every effing day of the week, okay? I would do that every meeting, every time, in every place. That's the cheapest contest that you can run. So think about things along those lines, okay? Or you give away 1 piece of Cutco in that similar fashion that's a drawing, okay? Not whoever schedules 5 gets a Homemaker plus 8 set, right? Not that. But there's just a drawing of some type, okay? That's a way to leverage the money, and that's a great contest. And again, all the other contests, I think that by and large, branch managers and district managers, even some division managers, do a crappy job of promoting all the contests that the company offers. So one time I saw Dan Cassetta put together a promotion like a contest promotion list. I could find it and email it to you, Shelby, and then you guys can make it your own. Like in May, what am I promoting? In April, in June, what are the contests that I'm promoting? Okay, in July, what am I promoting? So that's a good way to have a contest promotion calendar so that you can keep track of what contests you're promoting when you're promoting them. And then you have a list of all the contests that the company already promotes.
Yeah.
Okay?
I want to add
Great
on
question.
to that. I want to add on to that, Adam. I think something that we tend to forget as managers is that not everyone needs a prize to be incentivized to do something great. Yes, the prizes are fun, but don't overdo it with even making contests. There are certain times to have contests for sure, and there are again, ways to promote the free contests that we have. I mean, the trip to your region trip is a huge contest. I mean, I don't think anybody walked into your office that summer thinking that they could potentially win a trip to X, Y, and Z. But don't feel like you have to have a contest every time you ask someone to do something. And sometimes just recognizing their good work and their effort is all they're looking for. So don't overdo it with contests, because they don't always need contests. There is a time and place for contests, but don't overdo it. Anybody?
I got one more thing. One more thing to add to that. Okay,
Yeah.
That's spot on. Okay, if you have a contest all the time, you're sort of undermining the opportunity itself. Like, it stands on its own merit, right? Okay. When you are recognizing people at a team meeting, for example, do not just recognize their sales. Okay? If I'm sitting in a meeting and Miranda's running the meeting and she's like, Kylene, she's incredible. She sold 18 grand this week, you know? All I know is that Kylene's great. I don't know what she did, right? I don't know how she did it. I was like, oh, she's great. Well, that's not going to inspire and give a roadmap for how your other representatives ought to behave. Okay? So remember, sell the story. Sell the story, okay? Don't sell the punchline. Don't sell the outcome. You can recognize the outcome, but don't sell the outcome. Hey, Kylene, #1 rep, way to go, Kylene. Hey, let me tell you what happened to Kylene this week, okay? On Tuesday, how many no sales in a row did you have, Kylene? 3 no sales in a row. Raise your hand, you guys, if you've had 3 no sales in a row and thought about quitting, okay? Now, by the way, what if Kylene had thought about quitting after that 3rd no sale? What happened after that? Kylene, what happened? You sold a homemaker +8 on the next appointment. What if you had just given up, right? So you have to recognize the characteristic traits that lead to the success, okay? Recognize the persistence, recognize the resilience, recognize the work ethic, recognize all the character traits, okay, that you want people to emulate. Recognize those traits, recognize the characteristic traits. Don't only recognize the punchline. Okay, that's huge. That's huge.
So a quick phrase that I think really hits home this concept that's pretty easy to remember is celebrate what you want to duplicate, or recognize what you want to duplicate. So celebration of the activity will duplicate the activity in other people. So just celebrate what you want to duplicate.
Nugget.
All right, guys, we've got 5 minutes.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and I didn't. So.
Anyone have any final questions for Adam? All right, so Adam, just so they all know, in case they have any follow-up questions, what is the best way to reach out to you? Should they go through me? Can they email you? What's the easiest way for them to ask any questions? Go through their DVM?
Yeah, I would say, you know, the first place to go to is your manager, right? So your promoting manager, ask them the questions first. And you can ask your division manager or a region manager at a breakout. It kind of depends on what the question is. If it's financial related, you're happy to email me direct. I'm happy to take your email directly. It's a very simple email. It's adam@risingstockinc.com. And the ink is not ink like tattoo. It's INC, okay? risingstockinc.com. If it's a financial question, I'm happy to answer it. Yeah. You want me to mention about Rising Stocks and some of you haven't heard of it, Shelby?
Yeah, that would be great.
So Rising Stock, we basically are a bookkeeping and coaching company focused specifically on Cutco. So most of you will sign up with us at your kickoff, at your summer kickoff conference. Basically what we do is you are assigned an account representative. They download your information from Vector Connect, from your credit cards, from your checking account. They put it in one report that you get at the end of the summer. Totally easy for you to recognize your profit loss. And then also, come tax time, it makes it super, super simple. And last year, what we started to do is we have weekly tips that we text out to all of our branch manager clients. So you'll have a financial tip of the week that you'll be able to listen to. It's a podcast. It's like a mini podcast, 2 or 3 minute podcast each week on how you could be improving your profitability over the summer.
Awesome. I used it when I was a branch manager, and it made everything so much easier for me come tax season. So I definitely give my highest recommendation to Adam and Rising Stock. And like you said, you'll hear much more about it come kickoff conference. But that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed the content of today's call. This has been recorded, so will be posted within 24 hours of right now. And yeah, any final thoughts, Adam?
My final thoughts are, you might have heard this before, but this summer, especially if it's your first as a branch manager, it will be emotionally taxing. Okay? There may be times when you're going to want to quit, and it might be multiple times in a day. You might want to cry. I mean, I can think of some real adversity that I faced when I ran my branch office. And what I also know is that fast forward 20 some years later, I still remember those stories, and they've impacted who I am as a dad, who I am as a husband, who I am as an entrepreneur.
Oh, we lost him. He was giving us a really great last. Oh,
it's always in the middle of a nugget.
I know. Where is he? Adam, are you back on? We'll give him one more minute to jump back on here. Oh. All right, well, as he's finishing up, or as he was wrapping up, I think we all kind of got the gist of what he was saying, but this experience to be a branch manager is more than just a summer of good pay. It is more than just big paychecks. It is more than just a summer job. It is something that will change your life. So in the moments where it's challenging, in the moments where you're feeling like giving up, just recognize and realize what this experience is doing for your future, and just realize that you're doing the best thing possible for yourself. Adam, did you jump back on at all?
I'm trying to. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So you want to finish up your last thought before we jump off here?
Yeah, I mean, you wrapped it up. It's basically the moments, these character building moments, the moments of adversity, you're going to carry them with you throughout your life. And you'll be able to look back on those moments and you'll say, hey, I did something that was really difficult. And it makes a lot of other things that you're going to do in your life feel a lot easier when you can point back to these moments of challenge and see that you were able to work through them and that you were able to overcome some emotional adversity. Okay? It's really significant. And it's going to help you become a better person, a better parent, a better spouse, a better student. It really will impact so many profound things in your life. So I'm eager for my kids to have the opportunity. I hope they take it, the opportunity, because it was so enriching and for me, and such a huge, powerful, positive impact in my life.
Thanks, Adam. I don't know if you see John just walked in here. He's waving to you.
Hey, buddy.
John Kane, everybody.
Hi, friends. I'm sorry to interrupt. Have fun.
It's okay. See you later. All right, everybody. Well, Adam, thank you so much for being our guest.
Yeah, my pleasure.
On the call.
Thanks for the opportunity to share.
Yeah, of course. I really appreciated all of the amazing nuggets. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start a thread on the branch Facebook page about cost-effective contests. Because I'm sure a lot of our creative juices can come up with some fun things to promote in our office that doesn't break the bank. So thank you very much. And everybody have an awesome night. And I will see you all again on February 12th. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Shelby.
You're welcome.